Some of you have attended our curtain raiser press conference yesterday, and you had plenty of questions to be asked to the central government officials. Now you have the opportunity. So before we begin with the questions, I would like to request Sumita ma'am to give a brief introduction about what the PM Gati Shakti platform is and what this regional workshop aims to achieve.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all. And thank you very much to the media for being with us since the morning and being a part of our regional workshop. As you are aware, the Prime Minister's Gati Shakti is a transformative approach for integrated planning for multimodal connectivity and logistics efficiency. And this was launched in October 21. And the National Logistics Policy to support this vision and bring about reduction in logistics cost and increase in logistics efficiency was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister last year in September 2022. Today, in today's workshop, we've had 5 states participating from the Western and Central region. And we've had senior representatives from Government of India, from Ministry of Road, Transport, Highway, from Railways, from Telecom, from other ministries. And we've had a very good interactive session. We've had our technical partner BIZAG also participating. We've discussed, number one, the data layers which have been put in place by all the ministries and the states, and how the quality of that data is very important. What is the validation mechanism, so that we have authentic data there, and that can be used for planning. Number two, we discussed in detail with use cases from various states and from Government of India, how the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan is being used today to plan the infrastructure projects, the big infrastructure projects, whether at Government of India level or in the states. And we've had many examples coming up today. Just to name one of the examples, for instance, our Ministry of Road Transport mentioned the Pune-Bangalore National Expressway, how it is touching, aligning with the economic clusters and with the state highways to bring about maximum connectivity in an area approach manner. The Railway Ministry also gave examples of how it is promoting multimodal connectivity through the ports, airports, through strengthening of its railway lines. Telecom Department gave us very strong examples, one of which was how they are bringing about 4G saturation in 30,000 villages in the country using the PM Gati Shakti portal. They are looking at road connectivity and they are looking at where to locate their towers, since everything is mapped on the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. Similarly, economic corridors were discussed and how multimodal connectivity is being planned across. And Niti Aayog has given us a dimension on the importance of bringing the social sector ministries onto the National Master Plan. The PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan is a plan not just for infrastructure planning but also for area development. To plan the social infrastructure of schools, hospitals, anganwadis, and all the roads which are there in the rural areas much better, to give a few examples. So there is the social sector ministries and the social sector departments which are onboarding the National Master Plan. We've had a demonstration of the best use cases. We've discussed our doubts on many issues. The states have raised queries and we've been learning from each other. So I have today with me participants from the ministries and also the senior representatives from the states. Perhaps we can ask them to elaborate further. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to request first the representatives from the states to kindly give a brief about how your state has been on the PM Gati Shakti portal and how that has helped in planning and execution of projects.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm representing Gujarat. In fact, Gati Shakti, Gujarat is one of the earliest states to take advantage of the Gati Shakti portal and the Gati Shakti logistics. We have developed 46 MOCs and more than 1,000 layers have been integrated with the Gati Shakti portal. In fact, for planning, it's a very useful tool. For monitoring, also it's a useful tool. I can give you one example of planning, where a new railway line was being laid from Mehsana district to the Rajasthan Mount Abu. Through Gati Shakti tool, we could identify a mining area and also a sanctuary. So, because of Gati Shakti, we could plan properly, and the alignment of the railways could be changed at the earliest stage, at the initial stage. The second example is we have mapped all the Anganwadis. So the new Anganwadis, wherever it's going to come, it's based upon the go and no-go areas. So we could plan the Anganwadis much better. So are the Goan. So it's a very effective planning tool that Gujarat is using. In fact, the mobile towers, we can exactly identify what should be the height of the mobile tower, so that the coverage can be more minimum number of mobile towers. So social sector, infrastructure sector, and also a monitoring tool. We are using the Shakti portal. In fact, we have developed a very robust updation system and also capacity building system along with BISAC and DPIIT, so that the officials at the state level and also at the district level can use this Gati Shakti portal to its maximum. In fact, all our districts have started using this Gati Shakti portal for land acquisition and also for land allotment for different agencies. So with this platform, we could learn from the other states and also from other projects of government. So this is a very good workshop for learning from both sides.
Hi, I'm representing Maharashtra. Maharashtra has also started this Gati Shakti portal and we found it very useful. Hundreds of layers of various information have been created on our this Gati Shakti portal. MRSEC is the nodal agency which is working for the data and layer updation work. All the departments have been aligned to migrate on or to work with in alignment of the Gati Shakti portal. We have many examples. Recently, you might have heard about the Samruddhi highway, which has been created from Nagpur to Mumbai. Now we are thinking of connecting this highway, this Samruddhi expressway goes through the 10 districts, which has directly benefited the 10 districts and indirectly benefiting the 19 districts. So we are through Gati Shakti portal, we are connecting, or we are identifying the economic cluster, industrial cluster, or economic zones to connect this Samruddhi highway. In a similar manner, we are identifying the economic zones or industrial estates to connect to the ports. We are creating multiple layers about the forest and the various land reserved for the economic and sensitive zones, coastal regulation zones. All these layers are helping us to plan in a proper manner for the better connectivity, better logistic facilities, and better economic facilities.
Yeah, good afternoon all. I'm Dr. Sanash Mittal. I'm nodal for Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti scheme for the state of Chhattisgarh. I would also like to share that this platform, this portal has been extremely handy and useful in planning all the infrastructure projects as well as social sector plugging schemes in the state. We have entered and updated almost 53 layers of data in addition to 27 essential layers. And some of the examples are like financial institutions, civil aviation, helipads, panchayat roads, PMGSY roads, as well as Anganwadi centers, all the livelihood centers, educational institutes, sports institutes. All these things we have been able to integrate in this Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti portal. Now the way forward is using this portal for the infrastructure planning in future. So we've taken some very ambitious projects under the National Master Plan also. And in the districts of Korba and Pendra and Raigad, which are the predominantly gold mining regions, a rail corridor has been planned. And in that rail corridor, that has the whole planning process and further execution as well as monitoring will be through this portal only. In addition, we've taken a Mahanadi feeder 42 kilometers long irrigation canal project also, which has been totally based on Gati Shakti portal, and that tool has been useful in determining its alignment as well as all the NOC clearances, forest issues, land acquisition issues. And further in social sector areas also, we've mapped all the Anganwadi centers, Sakhi one-stop centers, all the primary as well as the middle and high schools also. And from that particular mapping, we have been able to, that thing has come up front, which regions they are lacking these institutes, and the further planning and impetus on which regions in these sectors has to be done by the state. So it is a very effective tool in further planning also, as well as very handy in execution and monitoring and determining alignment of the major infrastructure projects of the state also. And this workshop has been extremely handful and useful because we've learned from the other states also in what areas they've done well, and definitely we'll take up those areas as well as keep on. It is a very dynamic platform also. So Gujarat has done more than 1,000 layers. We've touched around more than 50. Maharashtra has done around 100. So it's a dynamic thing, and gradually we'll be adding more and more layers. And I'm hopeful that this tool will be extremely handy for all the states as well as the country.
Very good afternoon. Like all participating states, Goa has been very proactive in uploading the GIS-based data layers on the portal. As on date, we have about 99 data layers, including some of the major projects and use cases that we had planned through Gati Shakti portal. So we had made a presentation earlier on how we have used the portal and how we plan to use the portal. Goa being a small state, most of the infrastructure projects, major road, railway projects, port projects, they are centrally funded, and today the presentation of the ministries have been quite informative, and I would request the ministries to involve state to a more greater extent, so that better planning of the projects and alignment could be done, land acquisition issues could be sorted out in a more mutual manner. Goa has planned rationalization of schools, better planning of the movement of rice from the PDS, the FCI go downs to the FPA shops, some of the disaster management flood planning on Mona River, also mapping the nearest evacuation places, shelters like school buildings, temples, etc. for in case there's a flood situation, so people know, and the department also can plan in a better manner. Some of the major water projects, etc. have also been initiated through the Gati Shakti portal. We have learned quite a bit from today's workshop from pioneer states like Gujarat and Maharashtra as to how to further leverage this portal in planning not only bigger projects but also smaller projects, having like ma'am said, the area development approach. Also, we will further endeavor to map all our agricultural clusters as well, so as to ensure that the portal is used in its best manner. Thank you.
Along with the state representatives, we also have senior representatives from central government ministries. On the dais, we have representatives from the Ministry of Railways, the Department of Telecom, and we also have from the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So I would request the senior representatives to also give a brief about how your ministries and your departments have been on the PM Gati Shakti portal and how that has changed project planning.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. I am CDG, State Coordination from Ministry of Communications. I am based at Goan. So, Gati Shakti, PM Gati Shakti portal has been so much instrumental for planning 4G saturation project, 5G planning, and through this portal we have been able to map 11,000 root kilometers of optical fiber cable, which belongs to BSNL, GAIL, PSUs, ISPs, ESPs, and state departments also, state governments also. Through this portal, we are able to map 7.3 lakhs of mobile towers so far, and 11.5 lakh of VTSs. So we are gradually moving forward to map all the telecom assets in near future. And this tool is quite helpful in planning the 4G saturation as well as 5G services in near future, because you see telecom is the major infrastructure to reach everybody, every department, artificial intelligence, or everything is online these days. So telecom has to play long way to play very innovative roles in future to come. Furthermore, we have requested all states to share their assets for 5G projects. The attributes we have shared with them, and in near future also we would be requesting them, and we are on the same page. We are interacting with every state, and we have created users for every state and nodal officers also. And for state, we have created nodal officers from DOT side also. So definitely we are having all the data available with us, and sooner than later we are again taking every infrastructure map from state governments for penetration of 5G services. In addition to that, I would like to share that through this tool only, BSNL would be able to plan 32,000 root kilometers of cable for 4G saturation project, and they have identified through this tool that 7,558 land for the towers of 7,558 towers, land is available as of now. And the rest of the towers, wherever they have planned, they are requesting the state government to allocate the land. And further, this tool is helpful in giving connectivity to state economic zones, and to state institutions or national institutions, hospitals, or other entities which are requiring connectivity. And this tool helps us to identify which type of road is there, whether it is metal road, national highway, state highway, so that if at all if digging is required, then how much cost is involved for reinstatement, or DBR can be prepared as per the condition of the road. And route of the optical fiber cable can be identified using this tool. And thank you, ma'am. This workshop is really very helpful for all of us to bring us on same page and for better coordination in future. Thank you very much.
I am Shakti from MOD. Actually, as envisioned by Honorable PM, this particular portal, National Master Plan portal, that has the potential of basically ushering in a new era of economic growth. So, recognizing that, we have basically gone ahead with synergizing our efforts. We have uploaded the entire national highway network on GIS portal right now. We have tried to prioritize our projects as well, not only the ones those are in the pipeline for which investment decisions have been taken, even the projects those are in the anvil for which investment decisions are yet to be taken. Actually, we feel that this portal provides us with the opportunity to have a basically optimal look at the kind of vision that the other ministries are having. All the NICDC notes are available already on the portal, 861 of them. We have tried to synergize and map our projects, the ones those are undergoing, prioritize them, and see which all areas need more focused approach. And we have a broader outreach. We have a lot of things in mind now. We are trying to integrate our EMIS with the portal so that with dynamic color coding and all, it gives a visual appreciation of the various stages of project, which particular segment is at what stage. So that would also be enabled very shortly. We have a lot of things in mind. Actually, we have other portals as well. So slowly and gradually we'll try to plug in all those things. Most importantly, this being a portal and success of which basically depends on the kind of data that we have. States will have to basically play a very pivotal role in that. We have reached out to many of the states requesting them to share the data attributes for the state roads that we have, so that helps to basically have a bird's eye view regarding what are the investment potential and what will be the development requirement, prioritize the road projects and all in an integrated manner, so that we go away with our siloed planning and implementation slowly and gradually and optimize our efforts. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kamlesh Gosai, representing Ministry of Railways. So, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. As soon as it was launched, Ministry of Railways also became a part of it. Ministry of Railways set up a Gati Shakti directorate at the railway board level. Ministry has also set up Gati Shakti units at all 68 divisions of Indian Railways. National Master Plan portal, using that portal, we have started using all Gati Shakti principles. Earlier, our projects were sanctioned and then we would communicate that details of the projects with other ministries and departments and stakeholders. Now, integrated approach. While planning the projects, we communicate, we consult, we take into cognizance of stakeholders' views and their requirements, various ministries' requirements. We take into cognizance of projects and plans by other ministries, and which has also helped a lot to Ministry of Railways. We have also ensured that multimodal approach is there. We try to connect maximum economic nodes while planning the projects. Very few indicators to show the impact of Gati Shakti National Master Plan scheme and the project and vision of Honorable Prime Minister. Ministry of Railways in past 3 financial years have been doing sanction of average 6 projects of new line, gauge conversion or double line. After this Gati Shakti vision of Honorable Prime Minister, this financial year, Ministry of Railways have sanctioned 55 projects of new line oblique double line gauge conversion. And we have been doing average approximate 80 proposals for feasibility studies. So last year around 80 feasibility studies were sanctioned. This financial year, by now we have sanctioned more than 390 feasibility studies for new line, double line gauge conversion. So that's a impact of Gati Shakti National Master Plan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think we'll throw the floor open for questions now, but I would request representatives to kindly introduce yourself and the organization you represent before proceeding with your question.
Hello. Good afternoon. This is Newton with the Times of India. I'd just like a little more clarity about the projects that have been taken in Goa. We've heard the use case about the rationalization of schools. Can we speak a little more in detail about the benefits? A hub and spoke model was referred to. What exactly is that? How does the cluster scheme work? Thank you.
So basically this example that I was earlier also talking about was only one of the demonstrations of how the assets that the government assets, when they're mapped on the Gati Shakti portal, they can be analyzed using various kinds of tools like looking at the connectivity, looking at whether water is available, electricity is readily available, and then better rationalized use, and also government resources going into those assets. So school clustering was one of the projects that we had kind of conceptualized through Gati Shakti under the National Education Policy. Unfortunately, we could not completely implement the same on the ground. the planning part of it only was taken up under the Gati Shakti portal. And what we had done was, the problem statement was, there are many, for example, there are a lot of schools and also Anganwadis where the staff is less, but the children are more. There are some Anganwadis where the children are, the number is very small, the subject teachers are more. So we thought that why not cluster schools nearby, so that also they are readily accessible to the students, that is, they are not at a very large distance from them, and also rationalize all the resources, availability of a playground or any other resources in a particular school, so which would cater to a certain area. So that area approach we had followed, and that is the way we had clustered, gone ahead and clustered those schools.
My name is Mahesh from Prudent Media. Ma'am, we have basically in Goa, we have issues like land acquisition and all. How are you going to address these issues?
So you want me to answer?
You or anybody, especially railway.
I think for a comprehensive answer, ma'am, both of you can.
This is a question which is common, and today's workshop, apart from cross learnings, is also to facilitate better coordination on the projects between the ministries and also the state governments. As was mentioned during the various presentations, when a big project is being planned, it's always consultative, and the state governments are also taken on board, and that is where land acquisition issues are discussed. Now, with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of the PM Gati Shakti portal, we can see the forest areas, the wildlife sanctuaries, we can see where there are existing habitations, where the existing roads are there, and how to go about it. So we can avoid a lot of disruption, and we can plan in a better way. We can take the best optimum alignment. So that is how the PM Gati Shakti portal helps us to map our projects better, so that land acquisition also is done in an appropriate manner. So suppose we are going through maybe through a wildlife sanctuary or through highly productive agricultural lands, how the alignment can be used, the PM Gati Shakti portal can be used to have a much better alignment. By Gujarat gave an example how they could save on the forest area and the wildlife sanctuary. So that is how useful it is.
I'm Shoma from the Navin Times. I wanted to know how many projects as of now are on the Gati Shakti program in Goa, and the total investment in them.
So I think what you're trying to ask is, in the financial year 2020-23, the central government has announced the special assistance scheme in part 2, which was under the Gati Shakti framework, in which we had, Goa state had been allocated a total of 19 crores. So we had proposed a few projects. However, looking at the allocation on priority, we had taken up the park level development in the phase 4 of the Verna industrial estate. So these are the plots that were recently auctioned also, in 3 rounds by GIDC. So the kind of works that we're doing are the internal roads, the first mile connectivity, the utility ducts, the internal water supply, electrification, overhead reservoirs, pump houses, etc. In the phase 4. So the works have already been tendered by GIDC and they are under progress.
I'd like to add here that from Government of India side, the Network Planning Group has sat 44 times and looked at big ticket infrastructure projects, which are upcoming projects, and 66 of these projects have been assessed from the ministry point of view. Today we looked at the expressway. It would serve the vicinity of, we are taking an area approach. So at the ministry level, these are big ticket projects which go through several states, and they bring better connectivity to the state highways and also to the ports in the region, the airports, and so on.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Ken Zile. I'm from Online Media News Reporter. Now, since officials from DOT, MORTH, and Railway Board are there, I have questions for all three of you in the sense like DOT. You talk about planning stage, then mobile towers, everything. But what about BSNL? BSNL system is not working in Goa. You talk about 4G services. The capital city doesn't have their BSNL offices or anything working. There are a number of places where BSNL services have died down. Second thing is that when you talk about roads and all, we have in the last 3-4 years there's a new bridge which has come, Atal Setu. But in the past 3-4 months we have seen that it has been once again repaired for tar. So if it is a new bridge, then how come so early it has been repaired? Was it not properly done? Third thing is as far as railways, there is an issue when this railway extension is being done with the locals there. As far as what he spoke about land acquisition, they are not taken into confidence. Directly, some of the officials will go and try to take over that land. So how these issues are being looked up? Or are these discussed?
Okay, I'd just like to qualify here that we are, today's workshop is on the PM Gati Shakti approach for planning, holistic planning, and how we do that in a manner to bring optimum connectivity in a multimodal, seamless manner, promote logistics efficiency. The three projects you mentioned are peculiar to the concerned departments, and the ministries work with the states work with the local authorities. So I don't know whether we are qualified to answer these questions here, because they involve governance at every aspect and we really don't know the details. So I would request if we can talk about the PM Gati Shakti program and the logistics policy, that would be. But yes, these are issues which you have highlighted. Maybe they can be answered by better qualified people who know these, who are dealing with this. But our attempt is to use the PM Gati Shakti approach to make sure that we are able to avoid a lot of these common issues.
May I ask, ma'am, because if you talk about planning, this issue, without resolving an issue, how can you talk about planning?
Maybe, see, even at the state level, I may not be able to ask the Secretary Industries to answer, because there are several agencies which are involved and we will need better access to knowledge and information. That's why I asked you a question. And since this is about repair to a bridge, or it is about better telecom connectivity, these are very department-specific issues.
Ma'am, I would also like to clarify that a lot of the projects that are ongoing had been conceptualized prior to be onboarding on Gati Shakti, or maybe with the ministries coming fully with all the data, and hence for future projects, like you said, that we will definitely work with the ministries and also the state government departments to ensure that better land acquisition. We are more sensitive to the local issues, etc. So I just wanted to add.
And I would just like to add here, and perhaps we are reaching the end of the press meet. See, Gati and Shakti, bringing speed and power to the ongoing infrastructure projects for logistics efficiency, multimodal connectivity. This has been exemplified by the data given by railways, and I would like to repeat that now, that pre-PM Gati Shakti program, 6 projects on an average, new projects were being seen by the Ministry of Railways on an average in a year. But now post PM Gati Shakti approach, they have seen 55 projects already. These are the new projects and the gauge conversion projects which they've seen already in this financial year. And secondly, the feasibility studies, they used to do about 80 in a year, but post the introduction of the PM Gati Shakti, they have been able to see almost 400 already in this year. So that is the kind of speed which is being brought to big ticket infrastructure projects for promoting connectivity and for bringing about logistics efficiency to the country.
Ma'am, I would like to you raised.
You can take one more question.
So when you talked about outage of BSNL, we are advising them that the downtime should be minimum.
Departmental issues can be taken up.
Thank you. So we are concerned about it.
Okay. Any last questions before we wind up?
Yes.
Hello.
Myself, Shyam Suryaman from Goan. Is there any Gati for Gati and Shakti for BSNL in Goa?
Again, I think we've covered these aspects in the previous question. These are more specific to the department.
Okay, under the PM Gati Shakti,
Yes,
is the railway will be privatized?
Well, you see, these are not questions which are our domain under PM Gati Shakti, but the railways officers are here, the telecom officers are here. If you want a discussion, we can probably have it on the side.
One gentleman that been raising. Yeah. Final question.
Hello. Hi, my name is Ritesh Desai from India Today Group. एक और हम गति शक्ति पीएम गति शक्ति जो योजनाएं लॉन्च कर रहे हैं, पर कुछ जगह पे जैसे बीएसएनएल की बात हो रही है या कनेक्टिविटी की बात है, बहुत जगह पे प्राइवेटाइजेशन हो रहा है। जियो जैसे कंपनी आगे आ रहे हैं, जो रूरल एरिया है वहाँ पे सर्विस दे रहे हैं। सो एक ही और गवर्नमेंट इतना पैसा खर्च कर रही है, दूसरी जगह प्राइवेट सेक्टर में इतनी सर्विस दे रहे हैं। सो इसको कैसे देख रहे हैं?
आज हमने वर्कशॉप में एक बड़ा पावरफुल एग्जाम्पल देखा था डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकॉम का, जिसमें 30,000 विलेजेस में 4G का सैचुरेशन करना है और वो पूरा पीएम गति शक्ति पर प्लान हो रहा है। उसमें ये क्या देख रहे हैं टेलीकॉम डिपार्टमेंट कि वहाँ पर कौन सी रूरल एरिया में सड़कें जा रही हैं, वो सब पीएम गति शक्ति पोर्टल पर मैप है और हमको अपने 4G के टॉवर्स कहाँ लगाने हैं वो सड़क को यूज कर वो सामान लेकर जाएंगे। मोरओवर ऑप्टिकल फाइबर का जो पूरा नेटवर्क है वो एग्जिस्टिंग नेटवर्क भी प्लान है। तो ये 30,000 विलेजेस में कहाँ से हम ऑप्टिकल फाइबर का एक्सटेंशन लेंगे और जो सड़कें हैं उसके राइट ऑफ वे में भी हम अलाइनमेंट सड़क का लेकर विदाउट एक्वायरिंग न्यू लैंड हम अपना ऑप्टिकल फाइबर केबल का भी डिगिंग कर लगा सकते हैं। तो इस तरह से इनका पूरा प्लानिंग चल रहा है यूजिंग द पीएम गति शक्ति पोर्टल टू इम्प्रूव द 4G सर्विसेज इन द 30,000 विलेजेस जहाँ पर अभी तक कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है। इसी तरह 5G का भी पूरा रोल आउट पीएम गति शक्ति पोर्टल पर मैपिंग ऑफ द स्ट्रीट फर्नीचर वो सब स्टेट्स यूटीज सिटीज सब लोग कर रहे हैं। तो वो पूरा पीएम गति शक्ति पोर्टल पर ही प्लान कर रहे हैं कि इलेक्ट्रिक पोल्स कहाँ पर है और बाकी का स्ट्रीट फर्नीचर कहाँ है, यहाँ वो 5G का इक्विपमेंट लगा सके और रोल आउट कर सके।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड हो, जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट है जहाँ पे डेवलपमेंट अभी तक बहुत कम हुई थी, जैसे जो चीन का जो बॉर्डर स्पेस है, अभी ये इस पीएम गति शक्ति प्लान की ओर से कितनी बढ़ोतरी मिली है, कितने डेवलपमेंट हुआ है और जो न्यू डेवलपमेंट है वो क्या है?
देखो अभी जो पीएम गति शक्ति सोशल सेक्टर की चीज का मैपिंग पूरा हो गया है, हो रहा है और क्वालिटी ऑफ डेटा का इम्प्रूवमेंट हो रहा है। तो इसमें सभी मिनिस्ट्रीज पार्टिसिपेट कर रही हैं, सभी तरह के एसेट्स, और वर्कशॉप में बात भी हुई है कि कौन से डेटा लेयर्स हमारे एसेंशियल हैं, कौन से थोड़े रिस्ट्रिक्टेड हैं, कौन से सेंसिटिव हैं। तो ये काम हम सब मिलकर मिनिस्ट्रीज और स्टेट्स कर रहे हैं।
No, I think we'll wind up the press conference for now. I thank my friends from the media for attending the press conference and of course all the dignitaries on the dais for being patient and taking all the questions.